Hello friends, I'm here with my next video on pharmacology. So friends, in the last video we covered the two processes, that is absorption and distribution. And today we are going to discuss on biotransformation and excretion, which comes under pharmacokinetics. So let's learn pharmacology. So first, starting with drug metabolism. What is metabolism? It is simply a movement of drug from the cell or the tissues to the liver where the drug get metabolized. That process is known as metabolism. Movement of drug from the cell or the tissues to the liver process is known as metabolism. So drug metabolism or biotransformation we can say. So what is biotransformation? It is simply a chemical alteration of the drug in the body. Chemically the drug get altered in the body. That process is known as biotransformation. Metabolism converts the lipid soluble and ionized compounds into water soluble and ionized compounds. Liver is the chief organ of our body. So main site for drug metabolism is liver. Other sites for biotransformation or drug metabolism is GIT, kidneys, lungs, blood, skin and placenta. End results, the product we get after biotransformation of the drug is maybe in the form of, maybe it get inactivated, but sometimes a compound with pharmacological activity may be formed. We get a product with more pharmacological activity after metabolism sometimes. So here sometimes the drug after metabolism, like active drug, gets converted to inactive metabolite. Most common type of biotransformation or drug metabolism is the drug gets converted from active drug to inactive metabolite. For example, phenobarbital to hydroxyphenobarbital, phenobarbital to hydroxyphenobarbital, where the active drug gets converted to inactive metabolite after metabolism. Next one is some active drug gets converted to active metabolite. Codeine to morphine. Sometimes inactive drug gets converted to active metabolite after the metabolism. Example for this is prednisone, prednisone to prednisolone. Inactive, where inactive drug or prodrug gets converted to active metabolite. So what is prodrug? Prodrug is conversion of inactive form of drug to active form of drug after metabolism, that is known as prodrug. I repeat here, inactive form of drug gets converted to active form of drug after the metabolism, that is known as prodrug. Advantages of the prodrug: to improve the bioavailability of drug while the drug is given in active form. So advantages is to improve the bioavailability. Example in Parkinsonism. Parkinsonism means it happens due to the deficiency of dopamine. Parkinsonism happens due to the deficiency of dopamine. So we can't give dopamine directly because the dopamine does not crosses the blood-brain barrier. Since it does not crosses the blood-brain barrier, dopamine is not given directly. It is given as an inactive drug like levodopa. Levodopa crosses the blood-brain barrier in the form of levodopa. It enters the blood-brain barrier. Then in the blood-brain barrier, levodopa gets converted into dopamine. Then it works in the presence of dopa decarboxylase, simply to improve the bioavailability. Next is to prolong the duration of action. To prolong the duration of action, we give the prodrugs. Example we have is phenothiazines. Phenothiazines have shorter duration of action, whereas esters of phenothiazines have longer duration of action. Next, we prefer prodrug to improve the taste of the drug. Example we have is clindamycin. Clindamycin has a bitter taste, so clindamycin palmitate suspension has been developed for pediatric use to improve the taste. Next is pathways of drug metabolism. We have two pathways for drug metabolism, that is phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is also called as non-synthetic or functionalization. Phase 2 is also called as synthetic or conjugation. Phase 1 reactions. Phase 1 reactions means it involves the formation of a new or modified functional group or the cleavage. It involves formation of a new or modified functional group. So it is also called as functionalization because it involves the formation of new or modified functional groups. Then we have by oxidation, reduction, hydrolysis, cyclization or decyclization. First coming to oxidation. Oxidation, reduction, hydrolysis, cyclization, decyclization. Oxidation means addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. Addition of oxygen. Oxidation O, so addition of oxygen. Removal of hydrogen. Example for this is phenytoin, phenobarbital. Reduction. What is reduction? It involves the removal of oxygen, opposite to oxidation. Removal of oxygen or addition of hydrogen. Example is chloramphenicol. Hydrolysis. What is hydrolysis? It is the breakdown of compound by addition of water. Breakdown of a compound by addition of water. Example for this is esters. Procaine in esters. Cyclization. What is cyclization? It is simply a conversion of straight chain compound into ring structure. Example is proguanil. Next coming to decyclization. It is breaking up of the ring structure. Example for this is phenytoin or phenobarbital. At the end of this phase 1 metabolism, metabolites may be active or inactive. Next coming to phase 2 reactions. It consists of conjugation reactions. Conjugation reactions. If phase 1 metabolites are polar, it is excreted in urine or bile. But many metabolites, they are lipophilic and undergoes conjugation with an endogenous substrates. They get conjugated with an endogenous substrates. In phase 2 reaction, what happens is they get conjugated with an endogenous substrates like glucuronic acid, sulfuric acid, acetic acid. So few conjugation reactions we'll be discussing here. First is glucuronidation. In presence of enzyme UDP glucuronylyl transferase. Example is aspirin, morphine. Acetylation. The help of enzyme N-acetyl transferase. Example for this is isoniazid dapsone sulfation by the enzyme sulfotransferase. Example is paracetamol methyl dopa. Next is phases of biotransformation. Here I want to remind you that not all the drugs undergo phase 1 and phase 2 reaction in that order. Sometimes the drug undergo phase 1 reaction, then phase 2, then it get excreted. Sometimes drugs undergo phase 1, it get excreted. Sometimes directly drug undergo phase 2 reaction and get excreted. Sometimes the drug undergo first phase 2 reaction, then phase 1, then it gets excreted. Sometimes unchanged get excreted. Unchanged form get excreted. Drug metabolizing enzymes are microsomal and non-microsomal enzymes. Microsomal and non-microsomal enzymes are responsible for drug metabolism. Sometimes the drug can be inactivated. They get inactivated without the need of these enzymes. That is known as Hoffman elimination. What is Hoffman elimination? It is simply a drug where the drug gets inactivated without the need of any enzymes. Example for this Hoffman elimination we have is atracurium, a skeletal muscle relaxant. Atracurium undergoes Hoffman's elimination. Next is factors affecting the drug metabolism. What all the factors which is affecting the drug metabolism? First is age. Neonates and the elderly metabolizes some drugs to a lesser extent than the adults because of the diminished amount of hepatic microsomal enzymes. Neonates and elderly metabolizes the drugs to a lesser extent than the adults. Coming to diet. Diet also affects the drug metabolism. Poor nutrition can decreases the enzyme functions. Next is diseases. Chronic diseases of the liver may affect the hepatic metabolism of some drugs. Example for this is increased duration of action of diazepam in cirrhosis patients. Next is genetic factors. Study of genetically determined variations. Study of genetically determined variations in drug response. It is called as pharmacogenetics. Example is slow and fast acetylators of isoniazid. Next, coming to enzyme induction and enzyme inhibition. What is this enzyme induction and enzyme inhibition? Coming to enzyme induction, it is the repeated administration of certain drugs increases the synthesis of microsomal enzymes. Repeated administration of certain drugs, it increases the synthesis of microsomal enzymes. That is known as enzyme induction. Induction increases. Remember it as induction increases. Example for this is rifampicin. Enzyme inhibition means certain drugs inhibits the activity of drug metabolizing enzymes. That is known as enzyme inhibitors. Example is ciprofloxacin. Ciprofloxacin for enzyme inhibition, rifampicin for enzyme induction. Hope you people get cleared with the drug metabolism. Now coming to drug excretion. What is drug excretion? It is simply a removal of the drug and its metabolite from the body. That is known as drug elimination. That is the removal of the drug and its metabolite from the body. That is known as elimination or drug excretion. So the main channel for the excretion of drugs is kidneys. Main channel for drug excretion is kidneys. Others includes lungs, bile, fecus, sweat, saliva, tears, etc. So, process involved in excretion of drugs via the kidney, that is renal excretion via the kidney, are glomerular filtration, passive tubular reabsorption, active tubular secretion. Glomerular filtration, passive tubular reabsorption, active tubular secretion. GF, PTR, ATS. Glomerular filtration as well as the active tubular secretion, they both facilitates the drug excretion, whereas passive tubular reabsorption, they decreases the drug excretion. So first coming to what is drug, we'll discuss on glomerular filtration. In glomerular filtration, drugs with smaller molecular size, they are more readily filtered. Here, extent of filtration is directly proportional to GFR, that is glomerular filtration rate, and unbound drug in plasma. Next is passive tubular reabsorption. Main factor that is affecting the passive tubular reabsorption is pH. pH of renal tubular fluid and degree of ionization. Like strongly acidic and strongly basic drugs remain in ionized form at any pH. Hence, they get excreted in urine. Next is active tubular secretion. It is a carrier-mediated active transport. They require energy. Active secretion is unaffected by changes in the pH of urine and protein binding. So these three are the renal mechanisms that are involved in the excretion of drugs via the kidney. That is glomerular filtration, passive tubular reabsorption, active tubular secretion. Next we have is non-renal excretion other than the kidneys. Excretion other than the kidneys. That first coming to lungs. Alcohol and volatile general anesthetics such as ether and halothane, they are excreted via the lungs. Next is fecus. Drugs that are not completely absorbed from GIT, they are excreted in fecus. Example for this is purgatives. Some drugs are excreted via the bile, but after reaching the intestine, they are reabsorbed. After reaching the intestine, they are reabsorbed into the liver, then it goes to the bile. This cycle is known as enterohepatic circulation. Important. What is enterohepatic circulation means? Drugs, after reaching the intestine, they are reabsorbed into the liver, then it goes to the bile. That is known as enterohepatic circulation. This recycling is called as enterohepatic circulation. Example for this is morphine. Next is skin. Metals like arsenic and mercury, they are excreted through the skin. Next, saliva. Certain drugs like phenytoin, metronidazole, they are excreted in saliva. Milk. Drugs taken by the lactating woman may appear in the milk. So it has high acidic pH, hence basic drugs like tetracycline, chloramphenicol, morphine, they all remain in ionized form and are excreted in milk. This may affect the suckling infant. It has high acidic pH, hence basic drugs like tetracycline, chloramphenicol, they are excreted through milk, that may affect the suckling infants. However, majority of the drugs given to the lactating mothers, they are without the ill effects on infants, but sometimes they are contraindicated, that should be avoided. With this, we are done with the drug excretion. Thank you for watching my video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.